Well, today is December 14th, 2023, and it's time for another market update. But today I want to give you a little bit more information than just what the actual market update is. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over how do we get the market data report? In other words, where is it that we're pulling it from, and how do we actually get this data? And the next thing I want to talk about is how accurate is the data. So, if you don't put in good data to begin with, you're not going to get good data on the output side. So, we're going to cover that and show you a few issues that we have here in the Lakewood Ranch area with that. The other thing we're going to talk about is what are the other different ways of actually acquiring the data? Is it only through MLS, or what sources do we actually have to use to be able to pull the data from the different resources that we have to be able to put these market reports together? And then we're going to show you that if we are consistent in the platform that we use, then each month we're going to be comparing the same data each time we pull this information so that we have a consistent output with each one of these market reports that we do. Now, I've been doing this for about 16 or 18 months, and 99% of the time I've been using the same data source, so it should be consistent. Then we're going to say, if I want a copy of this, how can I get it? So I'm going to show you how we can supply you with a copy of any of this data that we put out each month. And it's very simple, and you'll be able to view it for yourself. Then how can you get information on a specific community? If you're looking for one specific community or one specific zip code or one specific area, how can you find out the data for that community? And we're going to show you how that happens. And then the last thing is we're going to actually review the data for all the history that we have up through November of 2023. So when I put these reports out, usually about midway through the month, that's when I have all the data from the previous month's ending. So that'll be up through the end of November. So that's why we wait until about this time of month before we put it up so that we can have all the data. So if that's of interest, stick around. I have all the details coming right up. Hello, it's Mark Boehmig, Michael Saunders and Company. And in this channel, Living in Lakewood Ranch, we cover all the areas around Lakewood Ranch, from Bradenton down to Sarasota, and from Siesta Key up to Anna Maria Island. So if you get value, just click that little subscribe button, ding the little bell every time we put on a new video. You'll be notified. So let's start with the first topic. How do we actually obtain this data that we share with you each month? Well, let me share my screen with you and show you. This is a company we use called Trend Graphics, and they're pretty much a leader in the industry when it comes to compiling results from the different areas. And you can see right here that this shows the select a region. So you select your area, whether you're in Sarasota, Manatee County, Charlotte County, wherever you are. And then you would come in here and select either a community, an area, a subdivision, and then the type of property. Now, most of these videos that I do are just on single family homes. I don't bring in the condominiums, duplexes, things like that. So mainly these are just going to be single family homes that come up in this criteria. And then as you can see down here, it defaults to September of 22 through November of 23, which gives us a pretty good amount of history data. And then we can come down here and select different types of properties. Now, this does include new construction, but the only way new construction is listed in here is if it was listed on the MLS, or once an agent closes on the property, that they do what's called a sold data entry form and upload that to MLS so that they're getting credit for it in the MLS service. And then it populates into these numbers. So let's talk about the second thing. How accurate is the data? Well, good data in is good data out. But if you don't have good data going in, what you're going to get is a skewed response when you go to pull the data out. And let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So when we go in here and we do an MLS search, if I was to do a map of Lakewood Ranch, which is what this is actually, I mapped out Lakewood Ranch, drew the little box around it. This up here is State Road 64. Then you come down to State Road 70. This right here through the bottom section is University, all the way down. This is Blue Lake Road. And then down here is Fruitville. And this little portion right here is the development of Windward by Neal Communities. So basically, this encompasses all of Lakewood Ranch. But when I go and look at the results, here's where the problem comes in. You see how this says Lakewood Ranch for the cities? Well, a lot of these say Bradenton. And you can see this. So what happens is if I was to put in Lakewood Ranch as a criteria, it wouldn't pull any of these properties that have been put into the MLS as a Bradenton address, even though they're actually inside of Lakewood Ranch and they're paying the stewardship or CDD fees that incorporated in Lakewood Ranch, which is what makes you a part of Lakewood Ranch, is paying those fees. So when we go back to this and we look back at the map, some of these over here are actually listed as Bradenton when they really should be listed as Lakewood Ranch. So that's what I mean about bad data in giving you bad data out. So how do we try and take care of that? Well, one of the things that I did was I went and I did a zip code. So let me see if I can show you this zip code map, and I'll try and share this with you so that you can see what this looks like. So as you can see here, this is a zip code map. So mainly 34202 and 34211 are the zip codes for Lakewood Ranch. But out on this eastern edge, that actually covers part of Concession, and Concession is not part of Lakewood Ranch. And then over here to the west side, it covers some of River Club, and River Club is not part of Lakewood Ranch. So that kind of skews the numbers a little bit when we're looking at that zip code as pulling it in for a Lakewood Ranch search. Now, the 34240 that you see down here is in Sarasota County. Well, those don't have a Lakewood Ranch address. Those have a Sarasota address. So if I was to pull Lakewood Ranch just from an MLS search, it won't pull that down in the Sarasota area because that's listed as Sarasota and not Lakewood Ranch. So what are the other ways that we can actually pull this data? Well, I could actually use the MLS and I could use these numbers that are in here. But the problem is I don't get any history with that. I can't go back and see what it was last month, the month before, the month before that. So it's very difficult to pull those kind of numbers from this type of data in order to do that. Now, there is another service we could use called RPR, which is Realtors Property Resource, which is run by NAR, National Association of Realtors. But the issue with that one is that when I went in and did a map search and then asked for the results, it only showed 34202, not 34211, and not 34240. So you can see there's a little bit of a difficult process when it comes to actually pulling the data that I like to share. So the way I want to present this information moving forward is being consistent, continuing to use the trend graphics reports for those two zip codes so that from month to month to month, we're using the same data collection service and getting consistent results. And we'll be able to see how the market goes up and down in those two zip codes. And I'm pretty certain, and I know this just from doing this quite a long time, is that even if we added in the 34240 zip code, it would not skew the data too much as far as higher or lower priced, days on market. All of that seems to be relatively stable between those three zip codes. So that actually helps us when we're determining the market value for the area. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is how can you get this data? Well, every month I upload this data into a program that we had called Issue, which is a magazine type format. So every month you could come in, if you look at the description below, and you would be able to see this data report that we put together. We upload this onto this platform so you can actually take your time and look through this. It has great detailed information. It describes what each little segment is about, where is a buyer's market, where is a seller's market, those kind of things. So it makes it very easy to be acclimated to what is going on here in the Lakewood Ranch area. And then next, how can you get specific information on a community that you might be interested in, whether it's Country Club East or Lake Club or Harmony or Star Farms, any of that? If you send me a message or you click on my link in the description below and fill out the information and just request a specific community, I can set you up on a search so that you only see those particular communities. And that makes it very helpful when you're trying to keep an eye on the market, see what's coming on the market, how many are available, how long does it take to sell, what are the list prices, those kind of things. So if you use the contact information down in the description in the link below, I'd be glad to set up an individual search on whatever community you happen to be interested in. So let's actually take a review of the data through November of 2023 for the zip codes here in the Lakewood Ranch area of 34202 and 34211. So when we go in here and look at this, you can see that we have this broken down into sale versus sold, average price per square foot, days on market, average price, and months of inventory. And as of course you can see over here, it says Manatee County and then those zip codes. So for the last month, we had a total of 359 homes that were on the market. 150 of those were new listings. So that's how many listings came on in the month. And as you can see, the month before, there was 199 listings that came on. It dropped to 150. 84 is the number of homes that went pending during that time frame, and then 115 homes were actually sold and closed out during the month of November. Then when we go over here and look at the average price per square foot, it was $368 last month for those two zip codes, up slightly from the month before of $345 price per square foot. Days on market. How long is it taking to sell houses here in the Lakewood Ranch area? Well, we dipped down to 44 days. Last month it was 51. So in November, it took 44 days to sell a house, and it sold for 95% of the list price at the time that it went under contract. What about average pricing? The average list price was $1,060,000. The average sale price was $977,000, and the median sale price for those two zip codes was $810,000. Now you can see quite a bit of fluctuation here, but the median means it's just the one that landed in the middle. So if we had, what was it, 115 sales, so the one that fell right in the middle is the median. So if you have a lot of higher priced homes or a lot of lower priced homes, it really fluctuates for the median sale price in the market. And then lastly, what about months of inventory? Well, we ended the month at 3.1 months supply. Now, I run these numbers for three specific neighborhoods that I concentrate on, which is Country Club East, Lakewood Ranch Country Club, and Lake Club. And when you hone those down into specific neighborhoods, some of them could show 9 months, some of them could show only 1 month. It really just depends on how sales are flowing in those particular communities from 1 month to the next. So there can be a wide fluctuation when you really, really narrow down the area that you're interested in. So there's one other thing I want to share with you before we conclude on this video for the market report for Lakewood Ranch. We've gotten a new website, which is pretty good, I think, and I'd like to get your feedback on what you think about for the website. But we put in this website and we have the communities listed, and we're going to be adding more communities. So if you have a particular community you'd like to see added to this list, this is what we have started with. Some of the communities that are completed, that are actually selling as far as resales are concerned. So if you wanted to look at something in Lake Club, you can just click on that Lake Club tab and you can see all of the homes that are actually for sale in Lake Club at this time. And this is directly tied to the MLS. So it's constantly being updated. But any of these communities are available for you to take a look at. And then if you're interested in thinking about listing your home, we do have a good page here for getting a home evaluation to get it started. And of course, that is an AI generated algorithm, so it's not quite as accurate, but hopefully in the future, it'll be a little bit more so. But I think it is a good way to get started, and you can send me your contact information there if that happens to be some type of an interest for you. So thanks for sticking around in this longer video. I know it was a little bit more involved, but I did want to give you a clear view of how it is that we get the data so that there's no confusion about how the numbers come out and what it is that we're providing to our market and for our YouTube viewers so that they feel confident in what it is that they see on the Living in Lakewood Ranch YouTube channel. And like I said, I'll put a description in the link below for contacting me if you have any desires of moving here or listing your home, and also a copy of the full market report for this particular month. Mark Boehmig, Michael Saunders and Company.